review as it relates to Mr. King's progress. May I have the names of our participants, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Nicole Underwood, lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Nastasia Thomas, counsel for the department.
Ashley Beach, I'm the foster care supervisor assigned to the case.
Michael Brooks, I represent the father of the children, Justin King.
Mr. King, your name for the record, please.
Justin Michael King.
Thank you. So also for the record, we've made some time for Mr. Brooks to speak with his client, as well as to have a brief sidebar to talk about some of the issues that I think we're also going to hear about during the meeting, updates on progress and some of the things that have happened in the last report period. But I would welcome the attorneys to give us any comments on the record about the sidebar before we move forward after Ms. Berger's appearance.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Ariel Berger, head the attorney for Justin Michael King Jr.
Thank you. Any comments on our sidebar?
I have nothing to add, Your Honor. No, Your Honor, I don't have any comments on it.
Mr. Brooks?
My only comment on the sidebar is it was primarily to get new counsel up to speed on where this case is, because it's been going for a very long time, but she's new to the case.
All right. Any comments, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, I think that we'll discuss them on the record as the hearing goes forward. And I think that's all I have to add at this time. Thank you.
Very good. Well, while I have you, it looks like I have two reports, one filed August 4th and one filed August 8th. Do you have that's what we have? And they both have different attachments and different things. So are we looking at both of those? Or did you want to just handle that with Ms. Beach?
Your Honor, we are going to look at both of them. I had encouraged Ms. Beach to file the late filed attachment just because I felt that there was some pertinent information that the original report was missing. So we apologize for the late filing, but I think it was important for everyone to have that information.
All right. Well, thank you for the clarification. If we need more time on that second filing, I can always do what I have in other cases, which is to allow the counselors and our attorneys to file any objections or to raise any objections to the new information at the next review if you need to do that. So, but we'll address that as we get there. Let's go to our guardian ad litem for her report. We are on YouTube this morning.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. I was able to meet with the 3 younger children at their placement. We appeared virtually this time, but we were able to have a productive Zoom meeting. The children were playing outside and showing me all of their toys. The older 2 boys were, excuse me, very excited to show me the wiffle balls and bats that they had been playing with. Apparently they are really into playing baseball, which is fun to hear about. There has been some in-home therapy provided for the minor children, which I think has been good for the oldest, especially. However, I think some disclosures have been made and some he's been speaking about some traumas that have caused some maybe additional behaviors that the placement and the therapists have been working through. They are done with any sort of summer school right now, but they are doing very well there. The oldest is getting ready to enter into kindergarten in a couple of weeks, so I was very excited about going back to school. The middle child is, as always, smiling and happy. Again, excited that he's going to be also going to school as well. He doesn't have as many signs of trauma or behaviors. It's mainly the oldest there, but and then the youngest child, the daughter, she's doing very well. She's trying to keep up with her brothers and growing really quickly. She's meeting all her milestones. She's very comfortable with her placement. All 3 children are very bonded to the placement, especially the aunt in the household. She's, I think, the primary caretaker of the children, but all of their needs are being met, and I would recommend that they remain in that placement pending further order. The oldest child, who is placed with non-respondent mom, I do have concerns with his placement. There is a case open in another county with that mom and the children. However, I'm concerned that his mental health and some physical health issues that are established or not being addressed in this current placement. I also have concerns with whether the utilities are working in the household, and some other concerns with respect to how discipline is handled in the house. I am uncertain whether his current placement or his non-respondent parent is in his best interest. And I'm actively exploring next steps, or potential next steps in that case for him. So I can't say that where he's currently staying would be in his best interest, but I also don't believe that there is currently any alternative placements or options at this time in the immediate future.
Okay. Thank you. Testimony this morning, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you. And I'll ask Ms. Beach to be sworn in.
Sweet.
Your Honor, I'd like to make something clear for the record and for the edification of my client. Right now, I guess what we're talking about is not the case that we've been on here for a year or so.
Yes, it's all of the kids.
It's all of it, but also an additional case involving children with a different mother. Right.
They have been part of the case since the beginning. It's just that that mom has been a non-respondent and is still a non-respondent at this point.
All right.
The issues there.
Mr. King, no interruptions.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. All right, Ms.
Thank you,
Thomas,
Anna.
whenever you're ready.
Ms. Beach, you've prepared or been part of preparing 2 court reports that were submitted for today's hearing, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And there are several attachments in both of them. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. As it relates to the report that was submitted on August 4th, in addition to the court report and the case service plan, there is a police report relating to Mr. King and Miss Miller. The medical documentation for some imaging by Mr. King was provided to you. There are safety plans related to the oldest child in the file, and then a prevention plan related to that child's mother's household. And then the DHS 69 noting a caseworker change from Miss Madrid to Miss Latour. Is that correct?
The only correction I would have is that the safety plan is for the oldest child shared by both parents and the relative
Okay.
caregiver placement.
Okay.
But the rest is correct.
And then for the report that was submitted, or the additional documents submitted at the end of last week, I believe on the 7th or 8th, that police report is related to the non-respondent mother of the oldest child in the file, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then there's some follow-up emails regarding ICWA documentation and searches, and then an additional search for or submission to the Seneca tribes, an IEP report for the middle. Is that the middle child?
Yes, the middle of the 3 younger.
3. Okay. And then the youngest child's early on assessments and IFSP reports, correct?
Correct.
Okay. To either of those court packets, are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to your knowledge?
I have one update to provide on an email that I sent to the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. I did receive an email this morning, right before I came, that they had sent the letters back in January, but they sent them to Hillsdale DHHS, which is why we never got a copy. So she is going to be sending me all 4 letters as soon as possible, and I will file with them with the court before our next hearing.
Thank you so much for that. And to the best of your knowledge, do those letters indicate whether there's any eligibility for enrollment in the Cherokee tribe?
They do not indicate any eligibility.
Okay, thank you. Okay, during this review period, how would you describe Mr. King's level of compliance with and benefit from his case service plan?
I would say there has been minimal to very minimal compliance with his case service plan. We still have concerns about his overall stability. He has not been consistently engaged in individual counseling, and the sessions he has attended have been via phone. I spoke with a therapist last week, and she is concerned that he has attended some sessions but doesn't really feel the need to be in therapy. He's just doing the sessions because of this case. And it's also been recommended by his therapist and his psychological evaluation that he participate in a psychiatric assessment, and he has not done so to date. Domestic violence continues to be a concern, based on the incident that happened on May 31st, where he had allegedly followed Miss Miller while she was driving her vehicle and he was in his, and then he approached her vehicle. And then there have been reports that he has continued to attempt contact with Miss Miller and seek her out when he has seen her out in public. There's also, related to the incident that occurred on May 31st, there was a warrant for his arrest, and I believe he's still facing charges of domestic violence third offense, which are pending. But he was arrested then on July 9th and at the Lenawee County Jail until July 22nd. We also have concerns about housing and employment. Those things have been, we either haven't gotten information about employment throughout this case, or he hasn't been employed. He did just provide proof of disability benefits this morning, but reported that a significant amount of that is being taken out for back child support. So I'm not sure when that child support was supposed to be paid, but I will look into that as well. But overall, we have concerns about his unmet mental health needs and just overall instability. We are still working, he's reported some health concerns throughout the case, and just provided some paperwork this reporting period for some imaging that he had done at a surgery center in Warren, Michigan. So I did get a release sign from him this morning so I can reach out and get a better understanding of what the results that he provided mean, and what treatment looks like for him going forward in that regard.
Has Mr. King been in regular contact with the agency?
Yes, yeah, he communicates via phone and email.
Okay. Have you had any concerns or issues with getting him to sign appropriate releases?
Not usually. Once they're explained, then he will sign. So that hasn't been an issue.
Okay. The report indicates that he is still not receiving parenting time. And I know your report articulates this very well, but can you just highlight the concerns surrounding parenting time and the risk of harm that would be posed to the children if the court were to order parenting time that be reinstated?
Yes, so parenting time was suspended back on December 20th of 2024. There was a visit that had occurred prior to that hearing where Mr. King was just really accusatory during the visit towards our staff. He was recording, he was talking about the time he had spent in jail from a domestic violence incident with Miss Miller in front of his children. He was not able to be redirected. He had also made allegations against one of our staff members. We were already providing secondary supervision as an extra layer of protection. And then we also had concerns about the children's behavior following parenting time visits. The relative caregivers were reporting an increase in aggression and toileting accidents, and it was like they were being re-traumatized by parenting time. Then Mr. King did his psychological evaluation on January 24th of this year, and that evaluation recommended that he maintain a period of 6 months of stability and participation in services and follow the recommendations from his assessment. He has not demonstrated that thus far. He also met with Renee Moore for a parenting time assessment, and she did not feel that he was safe to be engaging in parenting time at the time of that assessment either. So that is why parenting time has been suspended since December.
Have any service providers working with the children indicated that they are suffering from the lack of parenting time?
No,
As it relates to the children, are there any, I know this is kind of abnormal because we also get to talk about these kiddos within mom's hearings, but are there any updates that you'd like the court to know about for the kids?
I would just like to verbally give a little update on each. The oldest, DK, continues to be placed with his non-respondent mother, and we do continue to have concerns about that placement. There were several CPS complaints made during the last reporting period, and they were documented within the previous court report that resulted in CPS investigations and a CPS ongoing case being opened. So she has been receiving CPS ongoing services since sometime in May. She did complete Families First, which was just about 1 month long, and that was completed mid-June. And she did appear to make some progress, and home visits have been going better than they were previously. But she has not followed through with another referral for an in-home program. It's Families Together Building Solutions. She did not return contact, and that program closed. And then she still has not gotten DK into mental health services as recommended. He was having suicidal ideations in April and was seen for an intake at Lifeways. And then she did not follow through or return contact, so he was dropped. So he needs to be seen for another intake, and that has not been done at this time. And then in addition, she has had some recent arrests or close calls. So we do have concerns about that placement, and we are working with the ongoing CPS worker to see how we can assist with getting some more stability in the home and making sure that his needs are met. LK, during this reporting period, did disclose some allegations during a therapy session, and those allegations are being investigated by CPS. But since those disclosures, the placement has reported an increase in aggression and rage. She says that he will like flip a switch and like flip a table.
I'm sorry for the interruption. Is this the older or the middle?
The older, okay, thank you. And then she's also reported concerns with sexual behaviors he's perpetrated towards the younger LK. So bedrooms have been changed around. We've put safety plans into place. He's continuing to engage in individual counseling, and I think they're looking at increasing that. And then the family has been engaged in wraparound services, and the wraparound worker reports that they've been very engaged and consistent, and that there's a lot of love in the home, and that the caregiver is committed to putting whatever safeguards need to be put into place to make sure that all children are safe. So the caregiver is also learning new skills to parent him and meet his needs. So that service is definitely being taken advantage of. As far as the younger LK, he's doing very well. He does have a speech delay and has an IEP in place to help him with that delay. And then he will be doing Head Start, I think, again, or GSRP in the fall. And then NK also has an IFSP in place for speech delay and is receiving early on services, but overall she's doing well too.
Sorry, I just want to go through the attachments to make sure there's nothing else to kind of discuss here. Has Mr. King, to the best of your knowledge, engaged in any additional treatment related to domestic violence or relationship issues?
Not to my knowledge. I know that he has previously, but not during this case.
Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like the court to know about at this time?
I don't believe so.
As relates to the oldest child in the file, in prior hearings, there have been some concerns about the lack of responsiveness from that mother, the non-respondent mother. You indicated in your testimony that home visits have been better. Can you just articulate how they've been better?
I think less chaotic is maybe the best word to describe it. She has been easier to engage with than she had been prior to the CPS ongoing case getting initiated. That's really the only way I can describe it.
Has she continued to engage with and be responsive to the agency on a regular basis?
There have been times where she hasn't returned contact, usually when we call her. Even if it has to be multiple times, we will get her on the phone. But she also has the ongoing worker who makes regular contact with her. So if we have any issues, we usually reach out to the ongoing worker and ask for assistance, or when the last time she talked to her was. So although it can be a concern, we are usually able to get in touch with her.
All right, and the report indicates that Ms. Adney is still against her shared child with Mr. King visiting with his younger siblings. Has there been any movement or progress on that point?
So not as far as Miss Adney goes. I don't know that we've been able to talk about specifically that with her. I'm not sure how the caregiver of the younger 3 children would feel, or how we would feel about it based on allegations being made about the oldest child by the older LK. So if we were looking at initiating sibling visits, it may have to be done in a therapeutic manner, or we'd have to seek some guidance from the service providers involved with the older LK.
And have the service providers brought that up at all in either way, like that the children need to see one another, that sibling relationship was one of resilience and a benefit to them?
They have not.
Okay, thank you. With that, Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Beach and would ask the court to accept the court reports with the understanding that fellow counsel can object to the late submitted documents and or question about them at the next hearing.
Objection.
No, I have no objection.
Okay.
Thank you, they are received. Questions for this witness, Mr. Brooks?
Now, there are 2 families really involved here, right? The 2 mothers, maybe that's a better way to say it.
Correct.
Same father
Correct.
for all of the kids.
Yes,
How many kids are
there are 4.
there total?
Yes, involved in this case.
How many exist?
Well, DK's mother has 5 other children, but they're not,
They're not
Under-
his?
no,
So there are 1 child in 1 family and 4 children with the other family?
the oldest child is Mr. King and Miss Adney's, and then the 3 younger children are Mr. King and Miss Miller's.
4 children total.
Correct.
Okay. Do you agree with me that Mr. King is looking into the root causes of his mental issues with professional assistance?
He has not been agreeable to a psychiatric evaluation, which would focus more on mental health, but he has been attempting to figure out medical issues.
Right. That's where this business with the doctors in Warren, Michigan come into play?
Correct.
That's all. Thank you.
Okay, questions, Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Underwood?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seats. Unless you had any redirect, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, I do not.
Any other witness testimony today?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks?
You want to testify? Is it a yes? My client would like to testify.
All right, Mr. King, come on up for a witness stand.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Mr. Brooks?
Sir, you are apparently out on bail right now, is that correct?
Correct.
And what is the charge?
Unfortunately, it was allegations.
Pardon me?
There were false allegations, and I got an email for it.
What are you charged with?
They're trying to say third domestic felony.
And where is this, what is the status of that case?
Pushed out to September 19th, and I just hired David Goldstein.
All right. And who is that, again, who is that involving?
They're alleging Kirsten.
Last name?
Miller.
Pardon?
Miller.
Yeah, you have to speak up here a little bit.
Sorry.
All right. Now, you've said you want to testify here this morning. What is it you want the court to know?
The allegations about the kids, like you said, are from the fire to the frying pan. I had talked to LEAC about a house, and they approved it. They would approve more if I had got approval of the kids.
When's the last time you saw him?
December, after the 17th, I believe, when Leslie ripped up on Lincoln, and I told her she should have autism training, and she didn't like it, so I started recording after that. When she slammed.
December of what year?
2024.
Since then, you've had no contact.
Right.
Do you want
I
contact?
love it.
If we could get you supervised visitation, would you like that?
With a camera, yes. In the room, yes, I love it.
What do you mean with a camera?
Well, because I'm being accused of being accusatory when there was actions involved that a department, entity that took them, she shouldn't have ripped up on Lincoln the way she did. And slammed the gate against him like she did. Now, I'm sure if you ask Lincoln, he'd tell you whether he's 7 years old or not.
Now, with respect to your mental issues, you are actively engaged in trying to get to the root cause of this issue, right?
Correct. Mohammed Elderani would write you a letter after I talked to Narker in Dearborn.
And what have you been told that they suspect is the issue?
A possible mass.
In your,
Two
where?
on the center frontal lobe has one on each side and then one in the center.
And based on your conversations with this physician, what do they think should be done about that?
He wanted to wait a year, but we're going to talk on the 19th of this month.
To do what?
Don't know yet until he got back. He'd been gone for 2 months, like I told.
Well, yeah, but I'm asking the question, what does he think he wants to do?
I don't know until I talk to him.
All right. Does this doctor believe there's any causal relationship between what you have testified here before are your mental issues and the presence of these masses on your brain?
No other, the injury might be from the car wreck in 2022.
But I mean, does he think these masses may have had an effect on your personality and your perceived mental problems?
Disorders or so, yes.
Caseworker said you haven't done a psychiatric evaluation. That being the case, the first question I'd ask is, why is that not happening?
Me and Dr. Elderani were going to talk about it and go from there, because that's what the doctor had just said, but he wasn't in to talk to me, and then he got to talk to me, so he's going to discuss that after the 19th.
Who's Dr. Elderani?
my main primary doctor in Dearborn.
Have you talked to any psychiatrists?
No, not yet, I said.
Have you been actively avoiding that or?
No, I did my parenting classes and all the crap with my brain after the 15th of May. It's been hard.
But not through a psychiatrist.
No, I haven't had a vehicle for a while either.
Were you given an appointment to see a psychiatrist?
That I cannot remember.
I can't hear you.
I cannot remember.
Where do you live?
Couch to couch at the moment.
Sorry, again?
Couch to couch at the moment.
What general area of the county?
Trying to facilitate that.
Well, I mean, do you live in Adrian?
I don't want to post it on YouTube. How about that?
I'm not asking for an address. I'm just asking for a general area.
Between Ohio and the tri-state area.
Between Ohio and the tri-state area.
Yeah, till my mom wants me to do some things. So.
All right. And that's as specific as you want to get. All right. Is there anything else you want the court to know?
They said I talked to her in the courtroom,
Ooh.
out in the hallway,
Ooh,
Ashley Beach,
all right.
and she knows about, I had a recording of it.
What about it?
Some of the things she said up here are different.
Is there anything more specific you want to bring up about that?
Yeah,
What?
she said they're gonna check on my brain or on the doctor, and they didn't know about it yet.
Well, neither do we, do we?
No,
What else?
about the kids.
What about the kids?
I hadn't been told anything about it.
What specifically are you referring to?
Anything about Lincoln and Junior?
Oh. Yeah, have you asked?
Well, I just got a report and that was it. 3 days ago.
Did you want additional information from Ms. Beach?
Would be nice other than just a report right before court, wouldn't it?
All right.
With the violations already in place.
Is there anything else you'd like the court to know?
If they were to try to terminate my rights, there's ICWA rights they'd be violating. Because there is knowledge of my brother's doing over my mother and my great grandmother, Maud B. Smith, being Indian, us belonging to Viking blood, Bear Jenkins.
Vikings are not Indians.
Right, but it's still historical bloodline, correct?
Not under federal law, Viking is just Northern European.
It's under.
A lot of people in this room have Northern European ancestors.
Right, it's under federal law.
Are you claiming that you have Native American heritage?
Right, yes.
And what is the Native American tribe?
I've said, and she said no, that they haven't said anything, but if my brother would allow the information, he's the through how we would know.
Is it something other than being quote unquote Viking?
Seneca Indian,
Seneca
sure.
Indian.
And Jeff Jones said it was a Cherokee Indian for sure. And as well as Eugene.
Are you asking the department to check into whether or not you have a formal affiliation with the Seneca band?
I'd ask them to check more formally, and obviously if I'm saying it up here, it's true. Cause I've talked to my brother about it. For me, and he got it from ancestry.com. Sent his bloodline in, obviously, so that's how I found out who his father was. And if he like, my mother's right there.
Is there anything else you'd like this court to know? Well, obviously you object to the fact that you don't have your kids, right?
Right. And it's been informal to them not to help me over the housing way before we ever got homeless because of my issues. And it's informal to just take her and terminate a right if they wanted. You know, because of those issues. I mean, it'd be upheld in Supreme Court justice, I guarantee you.
You and I have explained the legal formalities involved with this, right?
A little bit.
I have nothing further unless there's something more you want to tell the court.
I have had the parenting classes up about until May.
Then what happened?
All the issue after the 15th with the diagnosis of the brain, it's been kind of hard.
When did you go to jail?
Oh, July 9th.
When was the incident that involved you being sent to jail?
With the contact had done from her wanting to see me
What month?
in May.
Okay. I have nothing further.
Questions for this witness, Ms. Thomas?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. King, did you happen to Google or try to find out what your diagnoses were based on your MRI?
No, that'd be because you guys tried to tell me I had Munchausen syndrome.
Okay. So you're not quite sure what a posterior fossa arachnoid cyst is?
It's a centerline mass is what they were trying to say.
Okay. And then as it relates to.
I got emails from it.
Okay. Just wonder, like, just making sure that you had followed up with your care provider about it.
Correct.
Okay. And then you mentioned that you do not have transportation.
I just got it back recently.
How long were you without a vehicle?
Well, I went to jail, 13 days, obviously. I don't want to discuss everything on YouTube.
How long were you without a vehicle?
For about a month. I had to jump through hoops to get there,
Who posted your bond?
Friend of mine that owns a business.
Online indicates that your bond was $10,000. Your friend posted $10,000 for you.
A bonding company did.
Okay. When you were in jail, were there any issues with your behavior or your mental health?
They were trying to say a lot of kids were screwing with me about other cases that didn't involve me. Guys that they were saying they were running the road for Chuck, and I didn't approve of it because Chucky don't have nothing to do with me.
And you have not completed a psychiatric appointment at all? A psychiatric evaluation?
A doctor, no, not out here yet, but a doctor from Ingham County that had a stroke tried to tell me there was nothing or something wrong with me when there was clearly something wrong with him because his face was drooping.
Okay. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Any questions, Ms. Berger? No, Your Honor. Ms. Underwood?
Mr. King, you indicated you hired an attorney for your criminal case. that correct? Okay. How were you able to come up with the funds for an attorney for that?
I'm going to object on the grounds it's irrelevant to anything we're dealing with.
I would say it's relevant in the fact, establishing whether he's been able to provide any necessities for the children throughout this case.
Yes, one of the issues in the case services plan is stabilization of housing, income, production. So questions about funding, attorney, well, and even fees that may be due to the public defender's office based on your representation, Mr. Brooks. These are all certainly relevant concerns, so I'm going to overrule the objection. So, did you need the question repeated, Mr. King, or are you prepared to answer?
Yes, I do.
How were you able to pay for David Goldstein as your attorney in the criminal case? Sorry?
It's anonymous. You guys are taking money that shouldn't be out of another case upstairs. Obviously, you're paying to have my kids $1,300 or whatever it is a month per kid, but you wouldn't provide when I was sick or prior to being sick for 8 years along this whole case.
So you're stating you're not willing to disclose how your attorney was retained?
Well, somewhat of it, isn't it, the way to pay it back, because there's gonna be more funds coming.
So again, I'm going to ask you a question one last time. Who funded your private attorney for your criminal case?
Why is that your concern?
Judge, I would direct the court to require to answer the question.
Mr. King, please answer the question. It is relevant. The court's already determined that it's relevant. Please answer the question.
Just, it ain't all been paid for, yeah. But it has been down payment.
Who paid the down payment?
I did.
Have you provided any clothing, food, funds, or anything for your children since they entered into care?
Kind of hard on $445 a month, and the state took $2,700 back payment right away.
That you're able to pay for an attorney?
They've been, what, they give me $185 back a month. I used to get out of $1,100. That's crazy.
Are you employed?
No.
Do you think your children should be returned to your care right now?
Before last year happened in November.
Sir, I'm asking you a question. Can you just please answer the question that I asked?
I'm trying.
So it's a yes or no question. Do you think that children should be returned to your care right now?
At the moment, no, but as the issues are worked out, yes.
So you currently are unable to take care of your children?
Because of the issues that were not taken care of by the government for 8 years over my health.
No further questions.
Any redirect, Mr. Brooks?
Well, we've gotten into an area that we haven't talked about today, certainly many times in the past. You have made arrangements to have a mobile home placed on a site somewhere out the southern tier of counties, right?
Yes, now that my mother moved to Friendship Place.
And there had been a roadblock due to township authorities giving you a building permit. Is that correct?
Yes, I make a meeting with him tomorrow.
And that is being addressed even as we speak, right?
Yes. $200, he finally spit it out. I don't understand it, but I will.
Well, my point I want to make is the roadblock, which has been something you and I have talked about many times, may be removed fairly quickly now, right?
A couple of the issues, like I said in May, they tried to say it was a roadblock, could have been alleged to the Hoffa disappearance. I don't understand.
My point is, it appears that things are now, the road is now open for you to get a building permit and to have a place for your kids to stay. Is that right?
It should have been 8 months, 10 months ago.
Is the question I asked accurate?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Any recross, Ms. Thomas,
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Berger, Ms. Underwood?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat, Mr. King. Anyone else you'd like us to hear from, Mr. Brooks?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Berger,
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Underwood?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Well, I would just remind all of our attorneys that today was also set for a permanency planning hearing. So I would ask you to articulate any position or argument that you may have on that piece as well, as you head into closing comments, beginning with Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, the department, by way of the court report, is asking for a goal change for the kids, for the 3 younger ones to be adoption. And then for the oldest child, we would still be looking at placement with his non-respondent mother. Mr. King has failed to make any significant progress in his case service plan throughout the last 7 or 8 months that he has been under this court's jurisdiction and ordered into his case service plan. A lot of what we hear is really nonsensical and does not make a ton of sense. I think it's more of a reflection in which we've had court reports and the psychological evaluation about his mental health, and it's just not adequately being addressed. I can understand that there may be some physiological concerns as well that could potentially explain some of this. But the issue we have in these cases is that the children are in limbo waiting permanency and stability for their lives. And it seems that at least the 3 younger ones, particularly the 2 older of the 3, are making some progress in their healing from the significant trauma that they've been exposed to while in the care of their respondent parents. And oftentimes we will see regression in behavior as they're sorting that out and healing through that. And I want to commend again the relative caregiver for sticking by their side, providing some stability and ensuring that all of their needs are being met. We have significant concerns about the oldest child being with a non-respondent mother. Unfortunately, our counterparts in a different county do not share those same concerns. However, I would just like to note for the record that that is not a reflection of our private agency's position. And we are limited to policy, or limited by policy, I should say, and we fully support any decision that the LGAL and or his court-appointed attorney make moving forward to ensure his safety and well-being. So at this time, Your Honor, we are requesting that goal change. I do have a draft of the termination petitions in front of me that I just simply need to review, and we would intend that our next review hearing would be a termination hearing as well. And with that, Your Honor, we are also asking the continuation of the suspension of parenting time, given that lack of progress. And these issues have been outstanding since the onset of the case. Thank you.
Thank you. Comments, Mr. Brooks?
I'm going to assume that when the council says that she's going to be filing a petition for termination, we're talking about for 4 children, not 3. The oldest one is included in that petition. A petition where the mother of that child, who has that child, has not even been named as a respondent. A petition where my client has been barred from even seeing that child for a very long time. And I think that that particular aspect of any petition for termination of parental rights is wrong.
Federally.
Mr. King, you'll need to refrain from interrupting your own attorney, please. Thank you.
Is wrong and should not even be considered by the court, let alone granted. Now, with respect to the younger 3, who I'm very familiar with, my client is, from the beginning, I've told him his first problem is the question of where are you going to live? It's still a problem today, but it sounds like that issue may be on its way to being resolved fairly shortly. The second issue is we all have heard about Mr. King's mental problems. I think that a lot of light can be shown on these issues from the terms of medicine and not psychiatric terms. He acknowledges he has
It's got to be 12.
the question is why? And I have just, Mr. King, at my urging, has just signed a release of information before this hearing started so that the department can contact the doctors who are looking at the specific issues which he believes specifically cause the issues which are of concern to this court. So I would like to see what they have to say about that and what their medical opinion is as to the issues involved and what the prognosis is. And then if things aren't going, don't say anything of any concrete nature. I think then it is an appropriate time to file a motion for termination of parental rights if they still choose to do it.
Thank you. Ms. Berger?
Thank you, Your Honor. I unfortunately have not been able to have contact with my client. I've tried calling the number provided for his mother by the department and by the guardian ad litem. I sent contact letters to an address in Jackson, but I have not heard anything back. I have been able to conference with the guardian ad litem regarding his wishes. And at this time, because the parent which he is residing is not a respondent, there's not much I'm able to do. I can advocate on his behalf through this case, and that I still believe it to be in his best interest to not be having contact with the respondent parent in this case. However, I do think that it's imperative that he be subjected to services and that he get the care and attention that he needs, even though he is with a non-responding parent. So I will continue to reach out to him through his mother. I was hoping he would be here today so I could chat with him. And if I'm unable to do so, then I will file a motion with the court requiring that parent to maybe bring him here or bring him to my office. That way I can speak to him before the next hearing. Thank you.
Ms. Underwood?
Your Honor, throughout the entirety of this case, Mr. King has done nothing but blame everybody else for his problems and has taken no accountability for anything in this case. While I understand and sympathize with the fact that he may have some medical issues, again, after receiving a copy of the medical documentation that he provided himself, doing a little bit of research just shows that, again, the type of cyst that he has, again, is often only found when doing MRI imaging. And the vast majority of the time, those cysts are benign. And if there's issues, none of the symptoms tend to lean toward mental health. It's more towards lack of coordination or issues with hearing and vision. There's been a blatant disregard for any of the services that are requested of him, and very little progress, really no progress with his mental health. That is my primary concern here when it comes to these children. Mr. King himself has indicated that he has mental health issues that he understands need to be addressed, but again, I think it seems to me as though he is dodging the real issues that, while on a search to find some other type of diagnosis or what's been going on. The children are young and they deserve stability and permanency. The three youngest are getting that where they're placed. They are able to have love and guidance, a roof over their heads, regularly go to school, get dental work, extensive dental work. They're in services that they weren't in before, and they're thriving when before they were living in a tent in the cold and not really receiving the care that they needed. I believe that it would be appropriate at this time for a goal change. I think it's in all of the children's best interest, including the oldest child's best interest, that termination petition be filed. Again, there has been no progress made by Mr. King, and only excuses and or the blame placed on everyone but himself when it comes to the situation that he's been put in. Along with the fact that there's an outstanding case for a felony domestic. Again, that was one of the primary concerns when this case started, and it's still a primary concern moving forward. So I would ask that the court formally change the goal to termination for Mr. King, with the petition being filed and heard at the next review hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Court finds all interested parties are given notice for purposes of today's review hearing. The placement of the children in all 4 cases at the current time is the safest and least restrictive under the circumstances, although I will signal again to the department and to our guardian ad litem that as it relates to the oldest child, they're very interested in additional information in the possibility of adding the mother of that child in as a respondent and or looking for alternative placement for him based on even the small amount of information that I have contained in this report, as well as the information that I have seen in past reports. So I'll ask both the department and our guardian ad litem and our attorneys to do that. I'm going to include in the order as it relates to that child that Ms. Adney is to cooperate with securing and following treatment recommendations, including that in-home therapy programming, counseling for that child, and cooperation with both the guardian ad litem and the attorney appointed for that child, or she may face contempt. That child is still under the jurisdiction of this court, and I would look for the department to continue to give me that information and to look at alternative placement for him due to Ms. Adney's continued refusal to allow services or supports that are obviously necessary for this child. As it relates to the youngest 3, those 3 are doing well in placement. There are clearly some significant challenges that are rearing their heads in the placement, and that's understandable given the really complicated trauma history of these 3 children. And I agree with the placement's comments that it's quite heartbreaking as it relates to what the 5-year-old child is exhibiting and the challenges that he continues to face. His mental health and the mental health of the other 2 children are clearly still at risk. If there's any parenting time, there's been no change in the circumstances of either parent at this point. But today we specifically look at Mr. King's progress. It does not appear that there's been progress in the area of housing, sustainable income that's directed towards stabilizing himself or providing for the children. There's no significant move towards addressing the mental health issues or the domestic violence dynamics in the relationship between him and the mother of the child. We now have further indications of the lack of parenting skills that were being exhibited during the time that the children were in the care of their parents, including, of course, Mr. King. Those allegations of Mr. King blowing smoke into the child's face, causing headaches, and some of the other issues continue to come up during counseling and some of the other service provider reports that we're seeing. And his behaviors continue to be very difficult to manage. So I'm certainly not going to subject him or the other 2 to the risks associated with parenting time that were very clearly articulated by Ms. Beach again today on the record. So that order suspending parenting time will remain in full force and effect. Given the lack of progress in any area on the case services plan, I'm going to order that the goal is changed to adoption and that the next report period may be also accompanied by any filings, and we'll have the hearing on any petition to terminate parental rights in conjunction with our next review and permanency plan hearing, which will be held on November 10th, 2025 at 10:30 in the morning. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today. Thank you. I'll have the order out shortly.